Good morning, darlings. So I'm coming to my YouTube channel to bring you a video because of the light show, and I missed it. I had no idea, but I haven't seen any news from my village or my area. My area, there was the light show everywhere, but I think my village, the five-pointed star, I have not seen anything. No photos, nothing from, so I don't think that we saw it. And I can't believe I only picked up on the worldwide light show last night. So I spent a long time last night putting posts together. We've had, this is the Ascension weekend. We've had intense heat and it was broken last night with a thunderstorm. So I know it's always difficult for you to pick up on what I'm saying is it all happens, but you don't see it all. So everyone was talking to me yesterday saying that there was the Eurovision Song Contest, so I just quickly opened, so you see it's all the pink and blue, the blue pill, red pill, blue pill shift. The right left of the brain, the 69, the PB, the paddy bear, with the green line in the middle has been it's the new shade. It's the children, it's the pale pink, the pale blue, and this is everything I have been saying. So you have missed one video. The last video I did was on Patreon, and it was a very important video that leads up to this because it was on the day of the new moon, and we had Liberty and Glory, LG. This is GG, the famous French book written by Colette of the Lolita, Gigi, of the young girl. And so this is Lord Gruffalo. I showed you last year at Badminton, the horse Liberty and Glory there was a fake fall in the water. We saw the man swimming, and the horse Lord Gruffalo won. LG, which is G7. It's the last angle, and you see the sword in the stone. So we've got the toilets in England are now the one sex. So that was about a week ago, but there was very big connection with a man who's died in France called Bernard Pivot. So Bernard Pivot is famous for, I explain in that video, apostrophe Bernard, all the connection with my sister-in-law. When I first arrived, she went onto this program to talk of her affair with the Shah of Iran, her platonic. So look, this was the show. Look at the 9 apostrophe, the apostrophe. It's the curl. When she was good, she was very, very good, and when she was bad, she was horrid. It's the curl. If you go and see the series, just looking for the plasma event, and it brought up that dark crystal. The dark crystal, the great conjunction is the end of the world. So we always put that with Lavette to be Saturn and Jupiter conjunction, but we are at the moment having, so we've got the Sun conjunct Uranus at the moment. We had for the new moon, Sun, Moon, Uranus and Jupiter. On the 20th of April we had the great conjunction under under Medusa, under AlgOL, and then we had the new moon on the 8th. So Jupiter has just moved into Taurus, but we've got Uranus still in Aries, and then we had the new moon on the 8th conjunct Uranus, and we're going to have combustion of the Sun and Uranus on the 13th before the Sun moves into Taurus. But it's all happening under under the is Taurus, Ra Aries, and Medusa. Looking for the Thunderbolts project, so that's all something for you to see, because It's the electric universe. It's all about the changing of the planets, and when there's an alignment with Saturn and Venus, and the great plasma event where he talks about the curl. So I'm gonna have time to go through this now, but it's for years, this Thunderbolts project, it's something I first saw 12 years ago, and he talks about when this event happens, you see a curl. That is, so when she's good, she's very, very good. When she's bad, she's Horus. She's got the curl. Amy Winehouse always had the curl, the big curl on her forehead. There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the mid L of her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good, and when she was bad, she was horrid. So, you know, where I live, Jubiloc, there's the river that runs in the valley, and it's called Jude's Bollocks. It's the Goldie Lock, it's the locks, it's the, well, it can either be Boaz and Jacqueline, the Bollocks, it's the JB, Solar Lunar Pillar, JB, but it's also the locks of Jude's. So you see, this man has just died in France. Computer is playing up a bit this morning. Up. So you've got his apostrophe. I literally, my computer is weird this morning. It's heating up very fast. I don't want to lose what I've done. So Bernard, the bear, we were talking about the bear, the N, R, and pivot is the axe. It's the North Polaris that spins. So we've just had Macron, the Chinese president, on this line in front of my house from the five-pointed star to the Pic de Midi, the top of the Pyrenees. And here you see this intellectual, he's always got his finger images, and I first came across him when I was 16 and I came to France, and we all sat in front of the TV to watch my sister-in-law present her first book on this show, and she was run over by a car that day by Iranian people. She came to the show with her leg in plaster. Again, there's one leg, the missing leg, always one dead soul dial, one leg of the Polaris spin. Under the hor is the poot, the horizon. So 9 is the 6, it's the 96, it's the P, the P is the 9, the B is the 6. It's always the yin and the yang, the axe of the spin. So he dies, and that was what my last video was about. And we're going to go through now this event because it's keeping up. And so there's this famous painting of Gustave Courbet of her, to get her, the ether. Lavette has just done a great video. I keep watching little bits of it. She's going through the Bible to get her. She's going through all the phrases, everything is explained. It's this journey between the flesh to heaven, the higher state of mind, to get, we're going from the mutable to the fixed cross, and we are arriving on this summer solstice. The summer solstice, the sun in the morning of the 21st of the 6th, Prince William's birthday, which is PB. 16 is the letter P, and 2 is and 21-6 B is the second letter, and P is the 16. So that's your 216 PB. He is called PB, Bernard Pivot. It's Paddington Bear. It's the spin. So it's all about coming to this new Taurus, the APPI, the bull god. He takes her fertility. The events, the light show we had yesterday was the, it's called the ABBI, it's called the Aurora Borealis, ABBI, the ABBI. Everyone is into their abs. It's the planet of the abs, it's coming up. It's the abominable. Catherine had her abs, she had her abdominal cancer. So it's all about rising Taurus. Jupiter has just entered Taurus, the symbol of the Paris Olympics. And he's under the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters. London Grammar, she sings, don't lose your head, don't lose the fifth element. This is the ether, it's the to get her, to eat her, the Aretha Franklin. The Franklin Bridge fell, and we've got On the Wand of Merlin, Pons Brooks PB Comet for the electric light show that we had, the plasma events. Oh, why is it all moving so slowly today? So, you've got Pons Brooks right on the Wand of Merlin. The light show happened on the 10th, so between the 10th and the 11th, the 5 and the 10 is how wow, the two directions of the swastika, the sun and the moon. It's 5-5, how wow, your two hands. The alphabet is split in two. You've got from A to M on one hand, I am, and you've got N to Z, New Zealand, on the other hand. So one hand ends on M, one hand ends on N. That's your Melody Nelson, the famous song by Gainsbourg of the English Girl in the Rolls Royce. MN, Melody Nelson. Nelly the elephant packs her bag and off she goes to the circus. The ponce is the stem of the elephant trunk at the back of your neck, which is the connection of your brain, your nerve endings that creates the light show in your head, in the four corners. And Pons Brooks is on the keeper of the four corners between Taurus and Gemini. We've got the Milky Way, the Galactic Gap, which is opposite. So that's the winter triangle, and opposite we have the summer triangle, which crowns the Aurora Borealis. The corona, that's the corona, there's the crown of the snake. And there's Ophiuchus on the other side between Scorpio and Sagittarius. You've got the Milky Way gap on the other side, and this is what they are merging now. On mainstream astrology, they've got all these conjunctions going on right here in the gap. They've got Jupiter just moving into Gemini, and they've got Uranus at the end of Taurus, when really what's going in is we've got the 12 signs closing on the PP, Peter Pan, 9996 to the 69 Pons Brooks. It's the new spin. So this guy who died is called Bernard Pivot. Pivot is the spin. So look, we just had the new moon on the 8th, and yesterday for the 10th. So the new moon on the 8th, there we've got the moon, the sun, Uranus and Jupiter. Sun, Uranus, moon, Venus still in Aries. So Venus rules Taurus, and Venus is in detriment. This is the dark side of the moon. Normally Venus, moon work together for that feminine energy in every man, his anima. And we've got Mars still in the feminine energy, not far off from Neptune. Neptune is going to be here for 15 years, and Mercury right on that V for victory. And Mercury that rules Gemini, where we had the moon move from the Wand to Gemini for the Electric Light Orchestra on the 10th. So then the moon, so new moon in Aries, and then we have the 9th, and the moon is on, just moving onto Aldebaran. This is something incredible I'm going to be showing you about the rising of Notre Dame. We're going to have Mars and Jupiter conjunct on the bullseye. We've got Mars coming into Taurus soon. So the 10th, the moon, the black moon, you can just see the black moon was on the bullseye, Aldebaran. Jupiter under the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, the light show. This is the fake 7 chakras. They're rising. This closing, the 7 chakras is the light show. They're making this closing in the house of ABBI, the fertility gods. This is your fertility god. So we've got Jupiter under the light show, the moon on Aldebaran, on the bullseye, and then on the 11th, so the 10 is the 1 and the 11 is the 1-1, so that makes 1-1-1, which is 7-7-7, and that's 21, which is the world card, where you have a corona in between the 4 fixed signs. So the corona, the light show, the crown, the Aurora Borealis, the crown of the Corona Borealis of the snake, as we've still got this, the Sun and Uranus under AlgOL, and they're going to be conjunct on the 13th, completely conjunct, combust. So then on the 11th, it was on the night to the 10th and the 11th, we have the light show, and we've got the moon moving right where the sun is for the summer solstice, 216. So that is at midnight. And then let's open this up. You can see, you can't see on here Pons Brooks, but we can see more easily this. So we had the moon. There's the moon. Just that slither of the waxing crescent. The slither of the waxing crescent. So it was, so it started, the moon on the 9th was on Aldebaran, and then it went. So it's very important, this passage of the moon. Venus, the ruler of Taurus, is in Mars in detriment, giving that masculine energy to Venus, the ruler of Taurus. The moon is on the wand, and then it enters Gemini for the light show. You know, it's still on Taurus, still on Taurus. Everyone saw the lights at 5 a.m. in the morning, still in Taurus, still in Taurus. And then it moves into Gemini. So right now, today, we've got the moon right on CYRUS, the keeper of the 4 corners. This is the goblin at the back of your brain, the elephant trunk, the Pons Brooks. And that's where we've got Pons Brooks right now in between all this. Okay, we're going to quickly go through some posts. Last night, the 10-5 is 555. How wow I 50. So we're coming up to the 50th G7. G7 is the 50th event. It's going to be on the last leg in Italy. So 555 is 15. That's the devil's card. 1 and 5. This is all stuff I go over in my last video on Patreon. I explain the Hebrew letters. So the last video I did on YouTube was about this purple rain. That was the very name that I gave to the video. So now I've just until I organise, really, I'm just throwing work out there. non-stop, but by the end of this month I will organize what goes where and what I have to learn how to do live, because that's something I want to offer on one of my tiers. I'm going to have, I want to do a live reading for the second tier, and for a third tier I want to do live chats for the third tier, but I have to do that first. So your channel, view your channel. You have to go and watch the Thunderbolt series to understand that curl, the apostrophe, and that's the video that I did last week. Pointed start. So that video is all about the first image. Was talking about the 5555 of May. That's the 55, the how, wow, I, the two directions. And it was called the purple rain, rain. So we've just had that. Is her. Okay. Computer is really moving slowly. I don't want to lose. So, and today 116911 Devil's Comet Pons Brooks PB 69 Bernard Pivot was on the wand of. Okay, so we've seen all that. The connection between the four corners of your brain, CYRUS, keeper of the four corners. APPI, Pons is the largest part of the brainstem, located above the medulla and below the midbrain. It is a group of nerves that function as a connection between the cerebrum and cerebellum. Pons is Latin for bridge. So that bridge fell. The key, the Franklin, the Aretha Franklin, the passage to the quintessence, to the fifth element, to get her. Located above the medulla and below the midbrain. It's a group of nerves that functions as a connection between the cerebrum and cerebellum. Pons is Latin for bridge. Your pons is a part of your brainstem structure that links your brain to your spinal cord. So that is the orb and the spectre. That is the pole and the pierre. Peter and Paul. Pierre is the stone, the dark crystal. It's your head, it's the third eye. And the pole is the spine, the spectre. It handles unconscious processes and jobs such as your sleep-wake cycle and breathing. It also contains several junction points for nerves that control muscles and carry information from senses in your head and faith. Lavette's video is explaining all that through the Bible. It's just showing this connection. It's different ways to read. So Ophiuchus, opposite axis, Milky Way, of where all the planets are at the moment. The constellation is described in the astrological poem of Marcus Manilius. That's your 1313. Mary Magdalene. 13 and 13 is the pole and the 3. The 1 and the 3 make the B, the BB. So BB is just PP. If you make it into BB, 22, catch 22, you've got man, mile by mile, man, MM. Marcus Manilius as the one that winds in loops. So on the 13th of February, we had in New Zealand at Lions Rock, we had the floods that I was at. The Lupercalia Fertility Festival is the opening of the this, the Valentine's, and the Valentine Cupid axis is that masculine axis of the mutable cross. Cupid and Valentine, Sagittarius and Gemini, same thing as Batman and Robin. It's the masculine axis, which was opened when Macron and the Chinese president opened northeast, just on the northeast angle when they went to the Pyrenees. So as the one that winds in loops, that's the Lupiac, but bending its supple neck, the serpent looks back and returns, and the other's hands slide over the loosened coils. The struggle will last forever, since they wage it on level terms with equal powers. So you've got the three religions, you've got Judaism, Christianism, and Islam. You've got the three politic parties. You've got red, blue and green, the right, left. You know, it's always the same thing. It's just the torso, the Taurus field. This is Taurus. And they're going to merge it as one. So the struggle will last forever, since they wage it on level terms with equal powers. Later in his poem, he describes the astrological influence of Ophiuchus when the constellation is in its rising phase as one which offers affinity with snakes and protection from poisons, saying he renders the forms of snakes inconvenient to those born under him. They will receive snakes into the folds of their flowing robes and will exchange kisses with these poisonous monsters and suffer no harm. But in Alpha Omega, Aries, Libra, Alef, Tav, Moses says all those bits shall live. So this is, people never get, this is the same as AA. They take you through the steps, the AA steps, but it's just like religion. If you ever have another drink, they say you're going to die. You've got to go through that hell phase on your own. You've got to, you know, Corona, Amy Winehouse went to rehab, and then we see her all skinny and dying to scare you, to throw you back. Normally Corona, Victor, VirgO, Pisces close at 12. But they're taking you back in the other direction of Ophiuchus, which in itself is not bad. It's the passage where you learn to heal. It's Chiron's last. It's what I've been talking about in these last videos with the bear senator, Thereseus. Thereseus is, this is, you know, you've got Chiron's last, which is taking you to the 12th door, but the 369 passage is stuck at Ophiuchus. So yeah, the pictures are very, everything's moving very slow. So you've just seen that picture, we've seen all that, and there you've got the corona. So opposite Merlin is Aurora Borealis, the crown of the snake. To the phantom's back, the crown is near, but by his head marked near at hand, the head of Ophiuchus. And then from it you can trace the starlit Ophiuchus himself. So brightly set beneath his head appear his gleaming shoulders. They will be clear to mark. So normally the shoulders is Taurus. Taurus rules the shoulders and the neck. Atlas. This is all the story of Prometheus. You know, the wounded. This is, he keeps growing back a new liver when he's attacked by the eagle. That's Scorpio. He never dies. Yeah, we're going into La La Land. But, you know, in itself, there's nothing bad about anything. It's all about seeing how the energies are manipulated to carry on the wheel. We're going into the underworld. We're going into the planet of the apps. And we're the X generation. We're here to live in the gap. There's nothing we can do about it. We can still make the most. This is the best of our experience on Earth. Earth is just a school. And that wheel, just the wheels keep turning. Can't stop the wheels. So, yet they too can be seen, for they are not feeble. Both firmly clutch the serpent which encircles the waist of Ophiuchus. But he, steadfast with both his feet well set, tramples a huge monster, even the scorpion standing upright on his iron breast. Now the serpent is withered about his two hands. So he takes the fertility of ScorpiO, the life-death portal. Everything is about the fight. The new tropics is going to be Taurus ScorpiO. And for 2034, we're going to have, we've got another we've got another big eclipses between 2027 and 2034, which is the fight for ScorpiO. This is first, they're taking the Taurus gate, Silver Gate, but then they'll take the Taurus Gate, and they're creating this gap, this multicolored rainbow light show, which is the Twilight Zone. It's that famous series, the Twilight Zone. You've got all the doctors and nurses and encounters of the third kind. This is the Third Reich. This is the merging of the red and blue to make the pink and blue, to put little Mercury, the children, the youth. The Republic in France is going to be like the Hitler Youth. Told you about it. They're bringing it all up. I've always said, and it's happening, but I said it too early. Joan Branco has already officially said that he, for 2027, is going to be the new president of France. It's this young Spanish boy with black eyes, which for me, he is, he epitomizes this one sex. And everyone's very happy in France because, Macron is just playing to kill that energy of money and everything that France hates. He will be, Jupiter will fall. It's a fake rising. So, everybody turns against him. He's just a fake image. And then they bring in Joan Branco, JB. And Jean Branco is famous for his book, Crépuscule. Jean Branco, French-Spanish lawyer. Jean Branco. So he is, I suppose, he's got the blue star. He is the energy of Mercury, Virgo and Gemini merged. This little boy, so he's all the Julian Assange. He was a lawyer, I think, helping Julian Assange. The Archangel, the Greens, political party, the Greens. Well, there you go. So he came out, he wrote the Crépuscule, L'Ordre et le Monde, so the Nouvel Monde Ordial, and everyone, and responses are APPI. So APPI, ABBA, the gods. So he is going to bring in this new youth, this new pale blue, pale yellow, the new Mercury. Here's the chart of May the 11th. So I put 12 p.m. So you see Mercury's just between Aries and Pisces in detriment. And we've got the tail of the snake in Corona, all alone. We've got that famous that I've been talking about in my last two videos on Patreon with this. I'm not going to start putting it out now, but we know that CYRUS, the bear asteroid, is right here in Leo, the stalker, the baby reindeer. That's what I've been explaining. So South Node in Virgo, Mercury rules Virgo and Mercury rules Gemini, and the moon had just moved to Gemini for this light show. So Mercury the ruler next to the last key, Chiron's last, and the head of the snake. And Mars the ruler of Aries, where Venus the ruler of Taurus, where Jupiter the ruler of Gemini sits, and where they were for this new moon on the 8th. And now we had the moon was here for the 8th. We're coming up to the first quarter moon. That will be in Cancer. It's going to be in Cancer in a couple of days as the sun moves into Taurus. Wowee. So there was an inconjunct line between Pluto in the home of Saturn. Saturn's still at home. This is all about rising the fake air. Jupiter rules fire and water. He doesn't want this energy of Saturn in Aquarius, although he uses it to his benefit. We've got Saturn making a semi-sextile to all this light show. So you've got the choice. This is why there's nothing bad about anything happening. That light show, officially they say on the 8th that CERN was opening, but can you discern? This is all, discern is it is really happening in that we have a Uranus conjunction with the sun, and this is happening in the head, and this is where your brain wakes up. The Pons Brooks, we've got it's where you connect, it's where you awaken. Uranus is the awakening planet, and he is sextile to Pluto, the subconscious mind in Mother Earth. So there's beauty in it, in everything. It's just how you take it and how it's being used and what level of consciousness that you're at. So that Neptune, you know, this incredible energy. Neptune is going to be 15 years in Pisces. Pisces is that ethereal realm. It is the last door out. It is where you transcend the physical and you find the discernment. You can walk through the invisible. You know, Mercury, either you're completely off with the fairies, you're completely psychotic and mad. The Pisces is mental health. It's or you're able to navigate in the unconscious collective, in the ether realm. So show pictures that I've been showing every day all the time. There's no big deal, but plasma light show was on the night of the 10th to the 11th. That makes 111777. That's the 21, the world card. Corona takes the crown from Christ. Bear N, Ra pivot spin. That's your Bernard pivot of the four corners of the crâne, the skull. So the Put is in the horizon. The two eyes is 5-5 to get the Hawaii 5-0. The one hand of Fatima, the middle hand. Hello, hello, the electrical light orchestra. The Pons Brooks is the bridge from the flesh to the higher mind. Third eye, fifth element to get her, the ether, the I-E. So, am I going to be allowed to see that? They stopped me going through my pictures at the moment. You'll see in a minute I won't be able to go. So, this wonderful picture of Lars says it all. We're at the Cairo. This from the red and blue, we get the pale pink and blue. Cardinal feminine blue makes light blue when pushed into white. There you've got the merging of Mars and Venus and bringing up, that is the symbol for Ophiuchus. So you've now got, with this 13th sign, which is just the middle, they create a 13th sign which you cannot have, which gives this green. So it's, see, pale, he's shown it all to you. This is why Lars is no longer, you know, he's told you, he's said everything, we brought everything up. It's just people can't join the dots when it's all happening. So this is the new look. You can't have, normally it should just be positive, negative, so you find your middle wheel. And we're moving into the Narnia, and that is what we get with that Eurovision Song Contest. It's all exactly those images. You've got blue and yellow in the middle, which I've showed you in my images, and Israel. Oh my God, did Israel win? Well, obviously this is exactly where everything is right now. I mean, this is it. I told you, is, Ra, and El, but the ruler of is, Venus, is in masculine, and the ruler of masculine, Mars, is in feminine, on the whale's tail next to Neptune. And this is when we have had the new moon and the great conjunction and everything is happening. This is probably the great conjunction, more than Jupiter and Saturn. This is the great conjunction. This is the L, the passage, and Mercury is in the Vesica Pisces passage next to the head and the key. Israel, and this is the story. And my son, I was worried about my son. I phone him, as always, and he's in Israel. Their next theatre play is on Salome. Everything I've been talking about. just blows my mind, and I'm trying to keep cool about it all. Incredible. Right, so how many pictures will they let me see? So again, sex and the secret nerve. There's a hermetic principle that states as above, so below. So if there's a zodiac above with 12 constellations, likewise, there must be a human zodiac below. And there is. Are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. However, there's another nerve called the zero nerve or nervus terminalis. Although less talked about, it could hold the key to discovering our divinity. This zero nerve is responsible for smell and phenomenons. It's been dubbed sex and the secret nerve. Now, if we can compare this nerve to the 13th sign, Serpentarius, Ophiuchus, serpent bearer, the serpent slayer takes on a whole new, and I can't see the end of it. So there he is, taking the fertility from Scorpio. Uranus is entering into Taurus. This is the line, the poutine. It's the horizon line. He's going to place himself in the middle. The hidden hand is ridden, the man de Fatima, the 14 pieces of Osiris, and we've got Mercury. There is little Mercury in the fish, in the gap. Right now, the four corners, the flower in the middle, the root. This is your Taurus, Aries, the Alpha Omega, the Alef Tav, and the light force in the middle. It's just the two sides of the brain. We've just had the wheels and their rings. I had a weird dream with Macron and Brigitte, and I was with them, and there's this, somehow I was given a ring, a black ring. Oh, yeah, I was given a black ring, and I was very afraid. The colour of beryl, that was my mother's name. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the colour of beryl, and they four had one likeness. And their appearance and their work was, as it were, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. There's your N, the N. So I was explaining in my last video that my husband's father was killed in an aeroplane. He had an aeroplane accident with two of his best friends, three of them. And he was the head of the French bank, BNP. I only worked it out as I was doing the video. And I've worked out so much more between my families, his family. And this is basically what everyone has to do in your own life. You know, my great-grandmother was the Maypole Queen. Here we are in May. I'm working it all out at this moment. And Catherine has just been made the patron of the National Port Gallery, where the picture hangs. So we're going from the Taurus, the X, how it becomes the N, A. A is that, you know, it's that passage. Sign, it's the symbol of Ophiuchus. So again, it's the Pons, the bridge to the Pons, to the third eye, to the how wow I 50, and this is why she stands in the middle of the four corners, Corona. We've been over this all. So I showed you that she is known as the 32nd. Uranium is the element of the 32. So 777, this is Liber, this is the book Liber of Aleister Crowley, and the guy who died is famous for his program, which was on books. Liber, liberty, it's the liberty and glory. The LL is just the G7, it's the 77, LL, the two corners of the skull. And then you find the middle one, the plasma event. The cornerstone is being put in. So you've got the 73 and the 37 back to front is L. E-L-L-E. L. L. It's the yoni. It's the hourglass. It's the passage. We're at that passage right now. So Christ, they put in between, but Christ be it. It's just the feminine axis. It's the 12th door. It's victorious. Victor, the V for victory. It's Corona and Victoria, not Victor. It's feminine axis. So Salome kills St. John. That's ScorpiO. And they're bringing up Luke, Taurus. So this is, you've got the passage. We've got Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Sun, and Mercury. Pons Brooks, there's your Pons, there's your elephant, the Hierophant. Right now we're seeing the young female Mary Magdalene being turned into the whore of Babylon and the male into a nobody genderless entity. Pedophilia, those are the colours, the baby pink and blue, adorning to be legalised, just for the purpose of power and fun. They will create the false androgynous mankind as and without barren genderless entity. When the mature old male or female holds a child in its hand, it works in two ways. The grand ones of the child are the ones to be allowed to do it and not a stranger. We are all being manipulated away from the real heaven on earth. Aquarius and Capricorn, the Libra, Lucifer energy of false justice are about to be implemented. So that's the Libra, the 777, the 21. The young girl is given the Libra energy. So there's Libra, there's Virgo. They merge the cardinal with the mutable signs. So Sagittarius merges with Capricorn, Pisces with Aries. That's your Cetus, 14th sign, the 14 pieces of Osiris that they do, and they've got the 13th sign, which is right here. The 13th sign right here, and the 14th sign right here, Cetus. So the green monster dividing and conquering mankind, and the fixed cross in the middle, and then Leo, Cancer and Gemini. So the children, the youth, take on Kali. That's why all the schools in New Zealand, they're all doing the haka, sticking out their tongue. Hell hath no fury than that of a scorned mother, being given to the children. That energy. That is your electric light orchestra. Jupiter is under the Pleiades, the seven sisters. Your Medusa is your dome. It's your it's your solar plexus. It's your diaphragm. So the four corners, they show you that ELO, the electric light show, in between the four corners, the plasma events, and the 666, we know, we've been talking about it. There's your plasma events. And the Aleister Crowley, we've got, that is the Liber book. Okay, that's what happens. They stop me. So I can't go through all those. Okay, yep. Interesting. So now it's just, Uranus is the great awakener. She'll be wearing pink pajamas when she comes. So this was worldwide. So here we go. Here is Lions Rock, where I was for the floods in New Zealand. February the 13th, Lupercalia Fertility Festival 2023. Mars was on Aldebaran Taurus, as it was for the falling of Notre Dame and the death of the Queen and the sacrifice of my dog ABBI, obviously. And guess what? Mars enters Taurus the 10th of July, so that must be, when is the Olymp? We'll come to that. I can't jump forward now. And then the 14th of July, Bastille Day, Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus and Jupiter on the bullseye. Aldebaran, and 8th of December for the opening of Notre Dame, Mars and Jupiter, Saint Martin de Tours, combust on the bullseye. Holy yup. So there's Lion's Rock. I was right in front of that, where you've got the Virgin. And what do we have at the moment? We've got the South Node in Virgo, and we've got the Hunter, Stalker, Therius, the bear that was here when we were born, X generation, and it's now here. Conjunct to Juno with Black Lilith, South Node. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury and the Sun rules Leo. So you've got that Apollo energy being given to the feminine, Sun and Mercury. And Mercury is closing the wheel in the 12th sign, Pons Brooks. Pons Brooks is right on the wand of Merlin, the Devil's Comet. So, where am I? Okay. So, that's the Lion's Rock in New Zealand. So, that's what I was explaining to you. This is where we are right now, the summer and winter triangle. I have to go and open Lars's downloads. Go and open Signs Mirror Down on Earth. Spring. So when I was in New Zealand, you've got Leo just over. So that was the last time Mars, in February 2023, Mars was in Taurus. And this July, Mars will return. So for the summer solstice, this time we're going to have Taurus and Gemini, exactly where this gap, it's all happening in New Zealand. So, you know, that's why my son-in-law and his brother went, as in the same story of Gemini, in 1 year of each other, and where the planets were proves that to me. Okay, so back to this. So on the 8th of the 12th, the 12th of the 8th, we've got Mars and Jupiter, the day that they rise, Notre Dame. Oh, had to sneeze. And we're going to have Uranus under the Pleiades. And we will have had the movement of all the planets come through by then, because everybody's going to be in Taurus between now and then. So there's Rome reports President Mauritius has promised Notre Dame will reopen on December the 8th. And there is, so on the 15th, the 7th of the 15th, we've got Jupiter bang on Aldebaran, and Uranus and Mars combust, and on the 14th for Bastille Day. So that is all big stuff. Right. Okay, Aurora Borealis is simply ABBI PP 6996, ABBI. Yet again, so that's why I tell you, in 1924, the book Abbé Pierre, written by William J. Hudson. I've been talking about this all year in all my videos. You have to keep up. You have to join the dots about my village. And now, in 100 years later, 2024, we've got the Chinese president and Macron coming just in front. And I've been telling you, it's the ABBA. Yet again, it's always Alpha, Beta, Alef, Tav, ABBA. So we had the big storm here last year on the summer solstice, 216. And Aveyron Bergerelle, the top of the five-pointed star of my village, was completely destroyed. with this. That was the biggest light storm we had. I mean, that thunderstorm was just ridiculous. Fab, 13th of May, Uranus, Sun are combust in Aries. 14th of May, Sun enters Taurus. 29th of May, Uranus enters Taurus. We had the new moon in Aries, the 8th of May. Sun, Moon conjunct, Uranus, Jupiter. And on the 20th of April, we had a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Aries under AlgOL MEDUSSA. The last time this cycle began was in 1858. The last time Uranus was under AlgOL MEDUSSA was 1940. Rahu, Ketu, currently in victorious Corona, Pisces, Virgo, axis, Milky Way, Orus, Borus. We enter the golden new age cage. Mainstream astrology has this all happening between Orion, Sirius, keeper of the four corners in the Milky Way GAP, Gemini, Taurus, Mercury, Venus, opposite 13th sign Ophiuchus, between Scorpio, Sagittarius. So my sister-in-law had this platonic relationship with the Shah of Iran. IRA is island, and the the North Pole, Polaris, Persian, keeper of the four corners was CYRUS, where everything is happening right now. Today, the moon is on Sirius. So, May the 10th, the high-frequency active auroral research program, HARP, is based in Alaska and is a high-power, high-frequency HF transmitter, feminine, HF, fam, HF, woman, man, transfer studying. So, yeah, they're just merging. ARP is just, again, it's your app. And Harry Potter, it's just your app. HP is the PH. H is the 8th number. P is the 16. 8 and 16. It's the 8 and the 7. But basically, Harry Potter, APPI, it's the magician. It's the wand of Merlin next to Taurus. It's Harry Potter. Mercury takes over from Venus. You know, it's Mercury and Venus, Gemini and Taurus. And, you know, it is all the anima and the animus, which is being inverted and perverted. The male anima is the moon and Venus, and the feminine masculine shadow is the sun and Mars. So now we've got the sun and Venus, and we've got Mars and the moon, and Mercury and Venus in that gap. And on the other side we've got Mars and Jupiter that make the 13th sign, and they're going to be conjunct for the rising of the new Notre Dame on the bullseye. So what is very important is to see where Venus will be for that. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8. So Jupiter, what have I done wrong here? That's the 12th month. That's the 8th. So 2024. Where's Mars? What's Mars doing over here? What's Mars doing over there? I got it wrong. That is not the day of the rising. 8 is August. So the 12th of August. Yeah, I got it confused. So the 12th of the 8th, we have Jupiter on Aldebaran, and we got Mars in Cancer. So and the moon rules Cancer again. So same thing, it's bringing up exactly that. Mars in the moon is bringing up that masculine energy. And where's Venus? Where's Venus? Venus is right on Altair in Capricorn. I'm going to have the moon conjunct Saturn. Okay, so that is the date of the rising, and we'll have the sun and Mercury in Scorpio rising Ophiuchus. So officially the sun will be in Ophiuchus and Mercury as well. So we're rising this 13th sign. Okay, so I have to go and change that. Right, so you can see this was the testing of HARP. These tests involve transmitting high-frequency radio waves into the upper atmosphere and ionosphere, which can cause the ionosphere to emit light, creating an artificial air glow. The research team has announced that they will be carrying out tests from May the 8th to May the 10th. Well, I mean, there we go. The high-frequency active auroral research program, the HARP. So we've got Mars, R, and Harry Potter, APP, HP, and we've got AA, which is the 1-1 Saturn at home in Aquarius, but AA is Altair. Altair is the AA. It's the summer triangle between Deneb, Vega, the harp, and AA, and your Lupiac, the spin, the loop, the sun here, Venus right there, Venus in Capricorn with conjunct Pluto. Venus is conjunct Pluto, combust Pluto, almost conjunct. Well, I mean, look. So Venus and Pluto conjunct Mars in Cancer, and the moon, the ruler, conjunct Saturn, and it's a half moon, So baby blue and pink for the Eurovision. So Europe is going to be this merged energy. Pictures everywhere. I do my little reels all the time at the moment regarding the corona. Orus, Ouroboros lights, yup, Mercury conjunct North Node and Chiron in Pisces. Victoria, head of the Milky Way snake, Mercury rules VirgO corona, where tail Ketu, South Node 6, the air, Mercury, the child, is crowned baby pink and blue. Moon was on the wand of Merlin last night, early this morning in the GG Galactic Gap, Taurus Gemini today, 11:05, Sun sits just before Taurus, still in a high cardinal fire Aries today, Sun Uranus conjunct before totally combust the 13th of the 5th. Before Sun moves into Taurus, 14:05. Sun under AlgOL still in Aries. Venus, ruler of Taurus, also still in detriment in Aries. Mars, ruler of Aries, still in mutable water, Pisces, and Mercury in detriment and fall in Pisces. Mercury conjunct to Chiron and North Node, Neptune in Pisces next 15 years too. Jupiter, ruler of Pisces in fixed Earth. Taurus, Moon is on the wand of Merlin, just in mutable air in Gemini. Mercury, ruler of Moon in Gemini, and South Node in VirgO trying to Saturn. Saturn fixed air at home in Aquarius. Moon in conjunct to Pluto in Capricorn. South Node in VirgO in conjunct to Venus, Uranus, Sun, Jupiter. Wow. Avoid conflict today. Big bang. Yeah, so that is something I wrote yesterday morning before I even realised there'd been this light show. I wake up in the morning. I had no idea. Look at it. I mean, that is the moon key in the mountains where, no, that's in the Landes, but there's the moon key where Moongi is where Macron and the Chinese president went. They had an incredible light show. So this is what I woke up and wrote before I realised I wake up and write this. And then Lucy says to me, have you seen there's been a thing? And I hadn't made the connection yet. So I just read that to you. That's what I read. That is what I just read to you. Okay, my computer is really dodgy this morning. I really don't want to lose the screen. That just took... Right, I hope I'm not going to lose any video. That just took 20 minutes of waiting for my computer to come back, and it's still very, very dodgy. Oh, yeah, this is dangerously dodgy. So this is the energies we're dealing with. I mean, my head is exploding doing this, but I have to get it done. I'm going to be doing... I'm going to write for a magazine, which I will then turn into a newsletter for Patreon. And, well, a catch-up on Patreon, something written, and then it will be... I'll be doing a video for Patreon for the full moon coming up. So how January got its name. So this is Janus. This is Janus, and you can see it's the same as Osiris and APPI, the god APPI, AbbI, Osiris. This is always at this time of the two directions of the wheel. I see this as whatever the new tropics is going to be. So we're coming on to Taurus, Scorpio, APPI, but it's also been Cancer and Capricorn, and we're leaving now the Gemini and Sagittarius. So Jupiter would have been the ruler, and when we're on the Capricorn Cancer, it's Saturn, and now we're going on to Taurus and Scorpio, so it's Venus and Mars, and this is APPI coming in. Okay, will you let me go down very slowly? So you see, we've been talking about this, been talking with Lucy about the ether this week. She did a very good post here, and I have my old blog post on called The Fifth Element to Get Her. I'm not going to even try and open it up because this is all too... So yesterday we had a new moon in Aries, anger, primordial flame of creation or destruction. Mars, ruler of Aries and Mars, is conjunct Neptune, illusion in Pisces, drowning in the unconscious collective. Mars, ruler of Aries, is also semi-square to the new moon in Aries. Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, is just in Taurus, ruled by Venus, and Venus in detriment in Aries. Mercury, your mind and communication, the lost child within you, is also in detriment and fall in Pisces, drowning in the fear of your own womb and confusion. Conjunct Rahu, the head of the Milky Way snake, and Chiron, the key to your higher mind, to your fifth element member, your head, through the Pons Brooks PB BP from lead to gold. So they're opening the golden dawn from lead, PB, Paddy Bear, Pons Brooks, Bernard Pivot, to the golden dawn. Pluto in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, semi-square to Saturn at home in Aquarius, the rebel, the revolutionist, the new moon, sun, moon, Uranus, Jupiter, was on Medusa, star between Taurus, Isis, Venus, and Aries, Ra, Mars. Many people are illuminating the wrong L into hell. It is L. She is the last phase of the moon within you, the dark side of you, rising the wrong spirit, demon, through the unresolved hate and fears. People who have done the inner work can stay above the fear and transmute the spirit of evil into the transcendence of all judgment and the ability to accept the show in all its liberty and glory. You've got to have humour to stay above. So that was 3 days ago. Okay, come on. let's just get to the end of this video. Just want to catch up with where I was from the last. So they're telling you that they saved this horse by giving it, I mean, give me a break. This is just showing you the 3 legs of the horizon, the Putin. There's always 1 leg under the horizon. And there he is, APPI, at the Skull and Bone, at the crane, at the Ukraine, taking the vertical. If you sell your lamp, PB, you get this, the Philosopher's Stone. They rejected the true lamb. This is the APPIs, ABBI, ABFAB, ABBA, APP, planet of the apps, abs, BP, ABBIS, also called HAP. Ep and Appi was an ancient Egyptian bull god of fertility in the underworld who was worshipped in ancient Egypt. He was typically depicted as a black bull with white markings and wore a sacred menat collar and radiate the sun crown. So he is the one taking the corona. So this was a post I did on Jupiter ascending. That was 4 days ago. So basically, it's just showing everything I've showed you. It's showing that was for the new moon. We have a new moon in Aries under AlgOL, exactly where Uranus was in 1940. Last time the cycle ended was in 1845. Jupiter-Uranus conjunct on the whale's tail in Pisces. Then again, cycle ended in 2010 when Jupiter-Uranus were again conjunct in Pisces on the whale's tail. Then new cycle from 1858, the last time Uranus-Jupiter were conjunct in Taurus. This time in 2024, they were conjunct in Aries. So it's a fresh new cycle. Jupiter just entered in Taurus, Torso, but still conjunct Uranus at the end of Aries and both conjunct to the new moon in Aries. And the ruler of Taurus, Venus, in detriment in masculine sign Aries, conjunct to the sun, moon. So the new cycle begins in Aries. The last time it began, so it ended in 1845. Jupiter and Uranus were conjunct on the whale's tail. Then again they were conjunct on the whale's tail in 2010. And then there was a new cycle, but it was in Taurus in 1858. And this time it begins in Aries. But the ruler Venus, the ruler of Taurus, where Jupiter just entered, is in Aries. So making it masculine, making the feminine masculine. So you can read that. Okay, I'll just finish it. But still conjunct Uranus at the end of Aries. So for that new moon, Jupiter was still in Aries. And then it's just moved in. Well, hang on, what was it? Jupiter just entered in Taurus, right. And both conjunct to the new moon in Aries. And the ruler of Taurus, Venus, and okay, we got that. Mars in feminine mutable water. Ruler of Aries, conjunct Neptune in Pisces. Pisces ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter in Taurus. Pluto in Capricorn trying to Jupiter. Sextile to Mars and Neptune. So you've already read all that. It's the home of his father, ruler of... This is a whole new birth. Mercury, Pan, is born, conjunct to the head of the snake. Rahu and Chiron last in the home of his father Jupiter, ruler of Pisces. Europe is born under the asexual sex. A whole new race is born. Mars, Venus square to each other in the homes of Mars, Tin, Jupiter, Free Martin race is born. Mars, Venus inverted, anima. So, I mean, all this has happened for the Ascension weekend. It's just all right in front of everybody. So that is the new moon on the 5/8, the day they begun this testing of HARP. And that is the new moon. There it is. And just look at that lineup. All the planets just in this section here. So we've got Earth, Fire, Water, Air, Earth. You've got Venus ruler, Mars ruler, Jupiter ruler, Saturn ruler, and Saturn. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus, Saturn and Jupiter, and the tail of the snake in the home of Mercury. Vesta too is in the home of Mercury. And at this time that I have it, we've got the mutable cross. Okay, is it going to let me move? This is too risky. I can't go through the pictures. So Jesus wears the red and blue, and we're now at the pink and blue. And I'm not going to go through any more pictures. I'm going to stop. Oh, the anima and the animus. And there you've got the Pan, Mars and Venus, and the glyph of Sagittarius, but Mercury, Sagittarius, so Jupiter and Mercury merging with Mars and Venus to make the upside down rainbow with Mars at the top, purple at the bottom, purple rain. And can I wheel down just to the last video at least before I finish? No, this is really difficult. My computer is absolutely not working, so it's far too dangerous. I'm going to try and open Stellarium to finish. So that we saw is the rising of Corona, and I got it wrong. So on the 8th, that's July, so that's August. Is that not in the Olympics, during the Olympics? So it's during the Olympics we've got Mars and Jupiter. I just can't go opening pages to check. But we'll be coming to all that as I move along through the weeks. So now, let's go back to now. We've got the moon today on Sirius. And then we're going to have first quarter. So for the combustion, the moon is going to enter home. And the moon is going to be square to the new moon we had on the 14th at the end. Or is it just going to be, let's see if I can open moon phases. Moon phases. Agree. First quarter's the 15th. Okay. So it is definitely up. So the moon, it's going to be, it's when the moon is right at the end of Cancer, because the new moon was at the end of Aries. So for it to be square, that is exactly where the sun was. So we've got the Salome, no longer Salomon. We've got the moon energy. So there's a thing going on social media where people on social media decapitate, they decapitate celebrities. So celebrity, the age of Leo, Pluto in Leo is over, and we've got this rising of you know, the people. It's always between the public and the private, and the public, Cancer, private, public, Capricorn. And now Pluto is in Capricorn. It's the public. The public don't want the private realm of Cancer. They're going to be their own celebrities. This is over the age of Pluto in the sun. So, but we've got the moon taking this energy in between Salomo, making a square to where the new moon was. Because a new moon is always a new cycle, so we're still under that energy of Aries for the month. So we've got the waxing, that's the half moon, and it's just going to be in Leo. And also it will begin at the end of Cancer. It's going to end, so officially it's the 15th, so it will be in Leo for the 15th. Then we've got the sun. And the big is the combust. This is tomorrow. The sun and Uranus combust. And Venus will enter Taurus. Will enter Taurus on the 19th, so that's Pentacot. So Pentacot, we've got Uranus and Venus conjunct, Sun and Jupiter conjunct. I mean, this is just so crazy. The build up here, and Mercury has just entered right on the beast, Cetus. Mercury will officially be in Aries on the 5/20. Mercury, when Mercury gets into Aries, and then when Mars enters Aries. Mars enters Aries on the 11th. Probably on the 6th. Oh my goodness, 6/10. If it arrives on the 6/10, that is your Mad Hatter. That is the 6 and the 1 that makes the 7, which is the when the Israel war began, Gaza. So the 6 and the 1, the 6 and the 10, Mars enters Aries. Mercury will be on Aldebaran, the Sun and Venus, which is what they want. They want the Sun and Venus turning it into a stag. The gentle cow, Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, Venus, all in Taurus, and Mars just entered Aries at home. And the moon in Cancer, square to Mars. So 6/10, wowee. Oh my goodness. It's just so much to say, and you just got to look above to understand what's going on below. Okay, darling, so I do my big writing tonight, and I will post into Patreon, and then I will be doing a video in Patreon for the full moon, and you know, I'm just waiting for the end of this month, and then I can officially create 3 tiers, and you know, basically it's a lot to juggle with, because I'm working more than I've ever worked to bring out all this information. So please keep coming in for readings though. I have been doing, thank you for the people coming in. I have been doing a lot of readings for the people in my region. I am known, everybody comes to see me for free readings. So it's an enormous amount of my energy. I don't get any money for it. I never think about the money, and this is my problem. I've got to get more like these Pluto in VirgO and Pluto in Libra generations, and I'm getting there slowly. But all this is so that I can create as long next to my readings with Patreon to have a steady flow. But basically, I just want to do readings. That's what I say to you. And this is one of the tiers I'll be doing. I'll be doing a live reading. It might not be live. It might be recorded for people who in the 2nd tier, and the 3rd tier is where we meet and chat, and we can go over everything I'm talking about. So all that will come. But for the moment, I'm just throwing information out until I organise exactly what goes where. And my newsletter I'll do on Wednesday. That's always the biggest thing of the week. That can take me a day to 2 days. But the recompense, I do that for free. That's for free. But you know, by joining Patreon is a way to bring back. I could have done a subscription, a small fee for subscription for the year, but that will be the lowest tier, and there will also be reductions on my readings within the tiers as well. Okay, darlings, I love you very much. Just surf the energy, surf the vibes. I love you. Bye for now.